most of the events are all about prize money, and no one was doing national pride, winning gold medals, for national pride. So speaking to the UK government, we kind of said, look, can we establish this? So we went to the IOC and said originally, could we call it the e-Olympics? And they thought about it and they said, well, actually, we've got a slight problem with the Olympics, so why don't you call it the eGames? So that was December of last year. So we just went to Rio. We did a 2-day showcase with ESL, with Spike, who's in the room. We did a great job, so thanks, Spike. And basically, we chose 2 titles. We did a game called Smite and a game called Super Smash. And in eSports, you have different games. So some of the games, like League of Legends, is a team game of 5, and then you have single games like Super Smash Brothers, which is 1 versus 1. So we had we had 8 countries competing, and we had the world number 1 winning an amazing final against the number 1 from America, and Britain unfortunately came 4th. So the model on that is we actually funded the first showcase in Rio, but the idea is that each country will have its own sponsor and then each event. And what we're doing is mirroring the Winter and Summer Olympics. So we're going to be going to host cities either just before or just after Winter and Summer Olympics. So next year is national qualifiers. We're going to be going to 16 countries, and then 2018 will be in South Korea, and then 2019 will be qualifiers, and then 2020 will be in Tokyo.
Users play against each other. They put together lineups based on real games that happen in leagues across the world. They pick their lineups by different positions, just like you do in football. You pick your forwards, you pick your defenders, your goalkeepers, and then you put together a lineup. As they score points in real games, that gets the statistics. We take in the statistics feed, and then we score those on our platform, and users compete against each other.
I mean, if you look a little bit closer to home in a country like Sweden, then esports is being covered in mainstream media, in news outlets, and so as much as what we call like more traditional sports is done. So, and then it comes also with as you say, the perception and how much time people are willing or able to spend on it, and so and then you create a really good talent pool, because the level of play is to a large extent based on how big is the talent pool. And then finally, as you say, like the LA and Berlin or so, they're typical hotspots as well in the Western world, and then people would move over or so.
And they actually host big tournaments, and that is part of the opportunity, I guess, for the UK.
I think one thing that we are working on is kind of developing grassroots and structure. I think there's a smoke screen with a lot of brands, a lot of parents about what is esports, is it good for you? And what we're trying to promote with Yuki and everyone is there's some fantastic life skills. There's incredible intrinsic rewards. Why are children playing this instead of watching TV? It's incredibly rewarding. They feel pride. They get recognition from playing. So I think we're promoting that, and also there's incredible cyber skills. So I think what we want to do is first of all promote esports. What is it? Still people are a bit unclear. Create some kind of structure and support in that, and from a low level. And one of the quotes that I have overused is the fact that certain games are better than playing chess. And would you ever get a parent saying you're playing too much chess?
Yes. Exactly.
So I think there's an education process that we're all, as an industry, working on to develop that. And then I think it will just lead on. And what we want to create is, more British talent. And at the moment, I think some of our British talent are playing League of Legends, but they're going overseas and playing elsewhere. There isn't enough structure in leagues, and people in the room are making a real effort to do that. But we just need to embrace it. And I think people in this room can have a massive impact on that and the opportunity.
It's very much a growing market. Obviously, one of the reasons for that is obviously that the big part of the esports fan base is still relatively young. It's getting older and older each year, but as in terms of disposable income for themselves, it's not there compared to the average traditional sports fan, perhaps. But it's definitely the average age of an esports fan is getting older each year.
First of all, what sometimes still surprises people is that some of the large esports events, they attract more viewers than some of the well-known traditional sports events. And then there's a comparison between NFL, NHL, and football and so. And that could go up to over 100 million viewers and up to 30 million or so concurrent viewers and so. They're obviously for specific events, but it's 24/7. That's just one thing. It's obviously digital native. That means that distribution is very easy and in a way cheap. Plus that because it's digital, there might also be a lot of like more casual viewing and so. And we work a lot on what we call micro content. And actually, someone recently told me as well that some of the Olympics content was also a lot reproduced as like to have it on digital and just very short type of micro content and how people consume digital content.
There's a live streaming platform called Twitch, which Amazon bought about 18 months ago for $1 billion, and this purely streams different games. And what's interesting about that, is my understanding, is that 30% of people are watching a game that they don't play. They're just interested in competitive play. So the content is incredible. So I think from a traditional sport point of view, to have this, 24-hour, because of the time, different countries are playing these sports. So you can wake up and watch, China, you can go to bed watching LA, it's incredible all the time. So Twitch have done a brilliant job in promoting esports. And then you've got different brands like YouTube trying to kind of develop that, and a brand called Azubu as well. So I think you can get very enriched. I think from a esports point of view, there's things that we can still learn from traditional sports. So Formula One do a great job where you can personalize your view, and I know esports are trying to do that now. So when you're playing in a team format, you might be interested in just watching how I play this game. I might be playing Call of Duty or Counter-Strike. And I know that there are advances now about changing that. I'm only obsessed by watching this one player. So for example, my 16-year-old son only watches Call of Duty, and he only has a team that he likes watching. So he will only follow them. So I think there's an opportunity of crossover of knowledge, but I think from an engagement point of view, personally, the esports live streaming hasn't been, the marketing hasn't been good enough. I think the traditional sport does a lot better job engaging with fans. I think there's a great opportunity here, and the brands that have got involved, like Intel do an event with ESL again in Poland, 100,000 people watched it live, 25 million watched it online. So again, the data is incredible. So I think there's some brilliant opportunities that brands and agencies for understand how to engage with that. The demographic is people that don't watch TV anymore. So my kids are a perfect example. They do not watch TV. They watch films or they watch gaming, because gaming is much more engaging to play. And I prefer my son to game for 2 hours and watch TV. So I think, again, this hard to reach demographic of kind of 12 to 24, there's certain brands and goods that they should be marketing to these people.
Even as an organization as Fnatic, we're getting a lot more experience in and so, and I think indeed in the next couple of years, through bodies that we're setting up and people that are coming in the industry, I think that will just certainly accelerate. Plus that, even the people that we're talking to from a brand side, that's the piece of education as we're doing today. Plus, we see, of course, it's typical that we see people who've grown up with esports, they grow in their career as well. So it's even on the decision-making side that there's more comfort in, decision-making and being present in esports. And so, and at times people say as well, okay, I don't really understand the industry, it's not completely regulated or so, which is something being worked on. But I don't think that this should necessarily be all because that's what we know from sports marketing. So, but I think if there are already successful cases, and then we just keep on building on that, as you said, like as natural progression, I think others will follow suit because it's like a very obvious thing.
Okay, well, I'd like to thank my wonderful panelists and to thank you for your questions and listening. Thank you, everybody.